Follow Helen Paul and I, Frank Donga.
You forgot your show notes inside.
Can you imagine? That's what I'm looking for.
Over the last 3 years, we have traveled through the hills and the valleys of Nigeria.
I've seen people combine their coleslaw with ofada rice and pomo before.
Say what?
As we uncover the untold stories of food heroes on the front lines.
There's no planting season for us. We produce here every week.
Connecting them to untapped opportunities and the experts who can solve their problems.
We advise farmers to top dress with urea at the rate of 90 kilograms per hectare.
For a very long time, I think we neglected farming in Nigeria.
We provide loan to these farmers, and then we've been working with them for like over 10 years now.
So anybody can participate in agriculture.
This is Farm&Fortune. Every farmer knows what he wants to achieve, but if he cannot find people to share his vision, he may be stuck. For Dayo, solving the critical challenge of farm hands and operations is a priority.
A farmer is coming to my farm. He likes the operation of my farm. The next thing they have in their head is how they steal your staff. They want that same thing on their farm, and they don't know it's not about the staff, it's about the person operating the staff. If they go elsewhere and they don't get exactly the way I treat them, they still misbehave. My name is Dayo, and I'm the team lead for Green Alley Enterprises. We are into a bit of livestock. I'll call it a bit because we do more of breeding here of fish. At the same time, we also have the crop department where we grow vegetables like cucumbers, tomatoes, cabbage, okra, and the likes.
Helen,
Yes?
let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
If you were offered 2 jobs,
Okay.
one in a reputable company with good structure and benefits,
Okay.
and the other one in a different company with anyhowness, freestyle, but equal payments and opportunities, which one would you choose?
Structure is very important. And of course, with structure, that means you have contracts and all of that. You can sue them when anything happens. But the anyhowness is not good because you can lose your job anyhow. And nothing will happen. So I go with structure.
Okay, very good. I agree with you. You are right. Structure is important. And we're about to find out why. Because our farmer on this episode of Farm&Fortune has big dreams. He can build the structure to see his dreams come true. And that's what we're going to do today.
That's Dayo, right?
Yes.
I can't wait to also find out. But I think it deserves a solid 14 for the magnitude of his problem, though. What he wants to achieve is actually very massive. So I'll give him 14.
14. Impressive. I'll agree with you. And for me, I'm going to give him a strong 17 out of 20 for farmer attitude. And that's because he has confidence. He's exuding confidence. In fact, his confidence is so huge and impactful that it's affecting me all the way from his farm, right here.
Everything is always affecting you. Any small thing, I'm affected. Anything, I'm affected. What is affecting you? Can't you just talk straight? Affection.
Okay, see now, I'm going JJ. I didn't bring violence, so see now you brought. I come in peace before now. No problem.
I'm here for harmony, and I come in harmony.
Anyway,
I'm not dragging anything with you.
No wala. Let's go and discuss more with Mr. Dayo on his farm.
And before then, excuse me, my name is Helen Paul.
And I'm Frank Donga.
You're watching Farm&Fortune.
I told myself I wasn't going to go to any farm for IT. I'll develop in 6 months. I want to grow something. So I started from the bathtub in my house. That's where I started my IT. And before that time and 6 months, I was able to grow it into an automated recirculatory system. I did the whole construction myself. From that period, I did not rest. In fact, I was in 400 level when I started to employ people to work on my farm. In terms of my the staff I have, I would say I have about 19. And if you move around the farm, I have about 19 working presently. I'm always very passionate about a crop, what a crop can give to me. So the healthcare surrounding a particular crop matters to me. So I just don't grow and just assume I have about 18,000 stands and it's just that. So for every crop, I'll make sure that there's no single weed around it. And it goes a long way because I want it to give me the best the output it can give. So I make sure it's receiving the correct fertilizer, it's receiving the proper care, water, everything. So I have the women move around, not to rush them, but give me something that is quality. You understand? For some other farms, they will tell you, I'm using 19, they can use just 3, they can use just 5, and the likes. They do it a lot. But for me, you can't expect what 19 people will give to you to what 5 people will give. Because I have to look at the mental health of my staff, I have to look at the speed at which they work, I have to look at the crop, accuracy of everything on the farm. Most people don't want to go into agriculture because of the kind of stress, working under the sun, but you have to make them see that beauty, make them like it. Forget Lagos, forget anywhere. Even if you go to Lagos, you want to make money. If you come here too, you make money. So I give them that room to earn, aside the salary and all that, they earn other things. I give them deals, like clear, I pay you. So with that, they stay. Now, you need to understand human psychology to an extent, behavior of human being. Most farmers don't see it that way. They just think you have a farm help, so you use the farm help as a slave. They are two different things. These people want something, that's the first thing, and they are actually working for you because they want something, which you just don't have to keep imposing everything on them.
Well, they say it's ridiculous to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, right? Well, how can we do better if we don't know any better? Well, to help us understand how to do better with respect to farm operations and structures, we have a special guest in the house today. No other person but Mr. Sylvester Uzoma. He's a farm operations consultant, and he's going to help us to understand the structures and sustainable operations on farms. He's done it for several farmers, helped them to build their structures and operations, and he's here with us. You're welcome, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you very much. Good to meet you too.
Good to see you on the show. I like how our farmers are always on point. You know, the drip is on point.
Thank you very much.
You're looking good. So, Mr. Sylvester, why is it so important for farmers to have sustainable operations and structures?
So, farming operations has to be looked at from the point of view of understanding the various phases within the life cycle, and also understanding what should be done and in what measure within those life cycle phases. Once you're able to marry these two effectively, you've then created a structure. The next step is how to take the structure and convert them into tasks, because not everybody is going to be able to operate at the level of sophistication of developing a structure, but you'll need more hands to be able to take a structure and convert it into tasks. The foot soldiers on your farm go to your farm with tasks, and those tasks are built out of the structure, and the task would include, Ogbeni, you are going to this section of the farm today, I need you to go and weed. Ogbeni, you are going to this section of the farm today, I need you to go and spray some specific herbicides within this section based on what we've noticed there. So that way, those tasks are now things that they go there to do and come back with the reports of how well they've been done, and then someone else then goes to monitor how the farm is responding to activities that are going on. So these tasks help to ensure that your structure is being converted into activities on a daily basis.
On a smallholder farm, you know, what kind of processes or farm structures can be done? Because this one you're mentioning, when you go to this part of the farm, some people, there's only one part of their farm. Is that one in front of you, nothing more. Just a few ply stands, you know. Let's say you're just starting. I mean, at that small level, what are these kind of sustainable operations that they can practice?
When we say tasking and structures, it's not necessarily about when it's a large size activity. It's in small things done well that you achieve big things done well. So if you're able to do the small ones well, you're definitely on the right track to be able to do the big things well. And in this particular case, a farm the size of a plot of land with one person still requires to have a very well laid down life cycle plan. And that is what would mean the difference between success and play on such a venture.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Now, so you've seen our documentary, our farmer, Dayo.
Yeah.
How would you rate him as far as access to resources is concerned? Like, you know, over 40, what would you give him?
You know, Dayo has done very brilliantly. Access to resource over 40, I actually scored him 36.
Wow, 36.
I'm telling you.
You don't TSK with that.
My brother, he deserves it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm happy for Farmer Dayo.
Yeah.
So if we talk about growth potential now, over 20, what would you rate him?
So I'm going to be optimistic and I'll be giving him 18 over 20.
18 over 20. First one was 36 for access to resources. Now you're giving him 18 over 20.
Dayo deserves it.
For growth
Trust me.
potential.
Yeah.
Come on, this guy, let me not talk. Because right now, let's take a moment to check out our DIY hack. We have something fresh for you. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the DIY segment. Today, I will show you how to irrigate your farm on very hot days. Get a long hose. Create holes in it, about 6 to 8 inches apart, so that the hose is not ripped. Line the hose around your farm. Connect one end to the nearest tap or water source, and block out the other end with a bottle cover. Turn on the tap and watch your hose irrigate the farm through the holes. And that's our DIY hack for today.
Welcome back, guys. I'm sure you learned a thing or two from our DIY segment. Fantastic DIY hacks there. Right in the studio with me, we've been talking about sustainable farm operations and excellence in farm business planning with no other person but Mr. Sylvester Uzoma, who is a consultant farm operations expert. Thank you for joining us on the show and sharing from your wealth of experience, Mr. Sylvester.
My pleasure, any day.
I have a few things to ask you about Dayo's overall score on our fortune board. But before that, what is the most ignored or overlooked farm operations that causes problems with most of our farmers in Nigeria?
You'll be surprised to realize that the most ignored aspect would actually be planning.
Planning?
Planning. We've had lots of issues where people go into farming and do not understand the requirements of what they're doing until they're maybe midway into it. So planning is actually a very huge, I know of one of our clients one time who just got rice seeds, went into a particular area and started his rice farming. And before we could know, say Jack Robinson, the place was flooded. The seeds hadn't even germinated. There are lots of stages, lots of requirements, and you need to be able to plan adequately, forecasts. And once all of this is adequately captured in a plan, it reduces the risk of failure. And failure in farming is not just at one point. It can happen at any point. So you need to find a way to ensure you block the chances of failure throughout the life cycle of your operations.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that contribution. It's
pleasure.
been an awesome pleasure having you on the show. And just before I let you go, I want you to guess Dayo, our farmer. What do you think his overall score will be? I know you've been very generous in your grades.
D1. D1 has done very well.
So what do you think he's going to score on a scale of 0 to 100 on our fortune board?
Dayo has no reason to score below 80. And I'm still retaining my 90 for Dayo.
Wow.
So
that's pretty high confidence, I say, for me. Let's check our fortune board and see what Dayo has scored. That's a clear 85. Dayo is an A-list farmer based on all these scores.
D1 has shown capabilities and capacity.
I would like to thank you so much for your contribution, sharing from your wealth of experience, Mr. Alsilva Sauzoma. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
My pleasure.
And we wish you all the very best in your agricultural endeavors.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. When he employs and trains inexperienced hands, will they pull their weight as expected? How does he get them to stay?
Now, all the people that came this year, the guys, none of them have been into farming before. We have some panebita, we have some Tyler, we have some like that. So now I had to put these guys together. And I made them understand that this is what you'll be doing on the farm. But I told them they can achieve this thing. And I gave them targets. That's their salary. If at the end of the whole harvest per block, they have assessment record book. Every week, we go to their place. I call someone, an external friend in agriculture, to come and score them. So it looks at things like how neat the place is, if they are spraying well, and all that. Each block we mark it for this particular project. So once we finish this project, we open another project, we do the same thing. So now, on every project, we give them a score, and the highest person gets 20K, 15K, 10K, depending on the score, but you get something, you understand? So we have to count the number of birds, we count the output. So things like at night, you see them moving around. So they didn't give me any reason to get security because they stay on the farm 24/7. You understand? Night, and that's why each place you come, you see a shed is for each person. You see them scatter around. We have about 5 of it. That's where they relax. One block, one shed, like that. So they monitor, and they know that once they see anything that has to do with infection and all that, they run to me immediately. They drag me like it's their own.
Like, it's a dream to me. The way I see it now, imagine me like this, con the straight pipe again. Waiting and not sabi for my life. Riches, I never hold. If you see my palm, we know the farm from our side. My father is not a farmer, my mother is not a farmer. But as I came here, I learned to farm, simply because of him.
There's a big difference. Slave and your workers, they are two different things. But they have that slave mentality, slavery mentality, that once they come here, any small thing, they must be the one. Clear bush, you give them cutlass, they clear it. If you treat them right, even when you're not around, they do some things that you don't send them to do.
You're still watching Farm and Fortune, and this segment is Secrets of the Soil segment. We have a soil expert, beautiful sister of ours, to educate us about some of the soils, how to go about it. She is known as Eberichuku Miriam Ugadi. Thank you so much for coming to our show. Yes, we have a question for you, but before then, we understand that soil and crops works hand in hand. And that leads me to the first question. What would you say are the standards that the soil and crops cannot compromise on?
Well, crop cannot do without soil.
Really?
This is because soil is the bedrock for plant growth.
Great.
Soil is a medium for plant growth.
Okay.
Soil supplies nutrients and water to the crop.
Okay.
It serves as a root anchorage. Crops that are grown on soil that is depleted cannot thrive well, even when there is optimum sunlight and water.
Okay.
Good plant growth and development depends on the nutrients of the soil. And then the nutrients of the soil, we have the macronutrients and the micronutrients.
So what are these macronutrients you're talking about?
Macronutrients are essential elements that are required in large quantities by the soil. We have 2 types of macronutrients. We have the primary macronutrients and the secondary macronutrients. Primary macronutrients are essential elements that are required in large quantities. We have the nitrogen, we have the phosphorus, and we have potassium. For the nitrogen, nitrogen supplies protein synthesis to the crop.
Okay.
It aids in the plant development.
Okay.
And is a formation of chlorophyll.
Okay.
Then we have the phosphorus. Phosphorus helps to strengthen the roots of the plant, and it helps in flowering. Then we have the potassium. Potassium strengthens the plant growth. It helps in the retention of water and helps to reduce the disease to the crop. Then we have secondary macronutrients. They are essential elements that are required in small or little quantities.
Okay.
We have the sulfur, calcium, and magnesium.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, that's very educative. But what if the crop do not have access to those nutrients? What will happen?
Well, a lot will happen. Let's use nitrogen as a case study.
Okay.
Crops that are deficient in nitrogen tends to have yellowish leaves. It tends to have stunted growth.
Okay.
Crops that are deficient in phosphorus tends to have brownish purple coloration on the leaves, and then it shows signs of death.
Okay.
Crops that are deficient of potassium tends to have brownish coloration on the plant leaves. Therefore, crops that are deficient of these macronutrients cannot thrive very well, and then this will lead to crop losses, thereby causing food insecurity. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. I should be the one thanking you. You've given so much secrets in just no time. Don't forget, you're still watching Farm and Fortune, and the next segment is fun segment, which is known as Banter. But before that, we'll say thank you once again, and let's go for the fun time. Are you ready?
Yes,
let's go together. Thank you. This is still Fan and Fortune. Welcome to Banter with Helen Paul. As always, our guests share their opinions on the issues raised, and the battle is out of fun. We have to just discuss it, have fun in the game. Today I have here the beautiful Agunbade. Agunbade. Thank you, Rachel. And my beautiful other guest is Olagunju Olaitan, right?
Yes, sir, correct.
I'm correct.
Olagunju Olaitan.
Thank you so much. Are you ready for the game?
Yes.
But before then, I have a question for the both of you. I know that farmers' hands change often. How do you think farmers can communicate their structure to the new farm hands they employ and ensure they work with it? Until later.
Okay, in our company, we train teenagers and youth on farm production and processing. Then for 3 months, and from there, we pick the best out of them. And we have workers that have worked with us for like 5-6 years. They are still with us.
Wow, wow, your teenagers would have been doing very well. What about you, Auntie?
In our own farm, we have some people that are coming from French
country.
From French country, yes.
Good.
We employ them. When we employ them, so we will give them the farm to cut it. After the cutting, they will do all the necessary things. At the end of the year, we buy them bike or television or anything they need.
So that means you reward them with gifts when they do well.
When they do well.
Thank you so much. Are you ready to play the game?
Of course,
yes.
Our game today is very simple. On the boards, look at the boards behind you. Great. Are balloons. Some balloons have notes in them. You have 6 chances to throw the darts. This is the darts. Just 6 of the darts. You throw to the balloon. Anyone who has more notes, I mean words written in the paper, wins the game. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready to throw your darts?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's go. Start. We have one. You have one. It's a tie. We're going to repeat it. You're going to throw it again. Please, can you pick your darts? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is serious. It's still Farm and Fortune. We're having a tie. I think we must have one winner. Wait, madam. I want you to give me your papers. Good. Let's open it. What is this one?
Irrigation.
Irrigation. Irrigation. One, you have one. Oh, yeah, throw that hand. Throw your leg.
Okay.
Don't give up, my man. What's this?
Salting.
Salting. Two. People come for French for you, truly. Let's go. Nothing is there.
Nothing is there.
Oh, painful. Let's go. Nothing is there. Oh, yeah, open. Let them know you're
Application.
Application.
Okay.
And
Fertilizer
application. Oh, yeah. Oh, heartbreak. Nothing in this one. Next. By targeting.
Harvesting.
Harvesting. She said it's harvesting. Let's go. You came ready the second time.
Transplanting.
Transplanting. Let's open. Open quickly.
Application of pesticides.
Application of pesticides. Ordinary.
Nothing is there.
Nothing is here. Heartbreak. You have something now.
Fertilizer application.
Fertilizer application. You got something like you.
Sorting.
Sorting.
Harvesting.
Harvesting. So let's go. And the winner is no other person than Sister Agumbia De Rachel. Congratulations. How do you feel?
I'm so excited now.
Oh, congratulations. Today you'll be going home with 100,000 naira worth of farm inputs. But don't forget, on Farm and Fortune, everyone is a winner. We also have consolation prizes for you. You will not go home empty, okay? It's so good to have you on the show. Thank you for coming. Thank you. And congratulations, Auntie Rachel. So with this now, you buy Okada for me too. All right, it's still Farm and Fortune, and keep enjoying. We love you all. Wow, today's game was so wonderful. I feel like playing it again and again.
Oh, yeah, now, let's play. Just you and I. If I win, how much will you give me? Let's go.
Have you heard about the saying that pride comes before the fall?
Nah, this is not pride now. It's a statement of fact. It's like me saying, I'm sure that next week's episode is going to be interesting.
On that one, I can booga anytime and every time. But my people, you know what? You trust your girl. It's still Farm and Fortune. Don't forget to always join us, same time, next week, same station.
And until then, keep up with us on our social media handles on Instagram and YouTube at Farm and Fortune. Let's continue the conversation.
That's our time for today. My name remains Helen Paul.
And I'm Frank Donga. See you next week.
The see you next week belongs to me. So excuse me. All right, so it's see you next week.
No be by high voice. See you next week. Am I right?
See you next week on Farm and Fortune.
See you next week on Farm and Fortune.
You're going off key.
You're not asking for key.
About it, see you next week.
Last, house boy, follow you. Share. Director, off and mic. Off and mic.